Got my 2004 Toyota Tundra, and my front passenger door lock is not working. I think we got a problem with the door lock actuator. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to take off that door panel and change that out. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. Got a bad passenger side door lock actuator here in my 2004 Toyota Tundra. You can see right here, if I push the button, I can hear all of the other actuators clicking and moving, but if I put my hand over here, just don't feel anything or hear anything going on in this side. So that tells me we've got a problem with our little door lock actuator that's right over here on the lock assembly. We're gonna have to take the door panel off to get to it. The cable is working okay because the door still will unlock and lock manually by using the little toggle here. It's pretty annoying if you're in the driver's seat and somebody needs to get in and you really got to lean over pretty far to unlock it manually. Let's get right into it. Let's pull off this door panel and then we'll change that out. Now it's helpful to have some of these little plastic trim tools. Now the first thing I'm gonna remove is this little triangle piece right here that has our tweeter. All we need to do is just carefully pry in between this piece of rubber and just pop that out. Try not to break anything. There we go. All right, then we can take this little switch out like that, and then it should just pop right out. You see, it just has these little metal clips here. It's like a friction fit. Once you get underneath, if you push in, it'll give that spring and that'll help you get it out. But this one came out pretty easily. And we're gonna disconnect by pushing that in and slide that connector off. And we'll set this out of the way. All right, now these Toyota door handles are kind of tricky sometimes, but we first need to pop out the little plug here, or the little cap, to get the screw out. There we go. Now it looks like this one was already broken, probably from the last time I had the door panel off. It usually has a little plastic piece. Sometimes this will stay on once you get it popped open, but all we need to do is get that screw out now. We'll set that aside. Now, in order to get this trim piece off, it's sometimes a little tricky. Sometimes you get lucky and they'll come right off. But if you get a little mini pry bar or mini flathead screwdriver and put it underneath here, and you're gonna pry it so that it's pushing the little tab down, like that. And then same with the top. You're gonna carefully wedge a little mini pry bar or a small flathead screwdriver in there, and you're gonna pry so that you're pushing the little tab up, like that. And we can set this out of the way. Up here in the top, there's this little cap. We need to pull this off in order to get to the screw up here in the top. Using another little plastic trim tool here to do that. There we go. And we can take out this screw here. Just under the armrest, we have another one. Just need to pop this cap off and take that screw out. There we go. Now here on the end of the door panel, there's these two little plastic fasteners, and these are a little bit different. You just push in the center like so, and then just pop them out. We're gonna reuse these. All you have to do is just push this plastic piece in the middle back out, and then it's ready to put back in. Same with this one up here. Push in, and then we should be able just to pry that out. There it is. All right, now with all of the screws and these two fasteners out, we should be able to go around and pop off all the snaps that hold this panel to the door. Just got to start at one end right down here. Once you get one or two, the rest of them come off pretty easily. All right, now this panel is free, but we also have our connection down below for the puddle light. Carefully lift this up. And just make sure we disconnect this right here. And then we can set our door panel out of the way. All right, now if you see down inside here, you've got these two rods. This one here is for opening the door, and this one here is for the lock cylinder. I'm gonna try to do this without taking off the outside door handle. I think it's a little bit easier to do it that way, and it's just one less step. All you have to do is just rotate this little plastic clip back. See, then you can just slide this rod out. Well, it should just slide out now. I'm gonna give that a little spray with some lithium grease, but it should just slide right out. It's just kind of hung up on that little tab right there. Maybe I can persuade it here with this little mini pry bar. Get that to push through. There we go. Okay, you can see we have this rod free now. And we have another one here with this orange clip. There we go. See how that works? You just rotate that. And then this one just comes right out. That was a lot easier than the other one. So now both of the lock rod and the door handle rod are free. Now I only did it that way because I didn't want to have to pull off the door handle. You can also take the door handle off if you'd like, but it might be easier for you. I don't know, for me that was pretty easy to pull those rods off, and now we can take this assembly out. Now the door handle just slides, now that we have the screw out that held it down, it just slides back this way, and then it will come right off of the door. And we'll pull this out of the little clamp right here. Looks like the top one had already come out. All right, now we can take off this bolt right here on this little plastic guard. That's a 10 millimeter. And then we need to take off this bolt right here that holds the assembly. See, it's got this little tab right here as well. Now, I watched a couple other videos. They said you had to take off this nut and this bolt down here. And what that does is that frees up the metal track that the window slides in. So make sure that you do have your window rolled up if you're going to be doing this. So I'm going to take this off. It's another 10 millimeter. And then I got to take this off down here on the outside of the door. All right, we'll set that aside. All right, now this part is a little tricky. We took the nut off here and the bolt down here, and that's for the metal track that the window slides in. So now what we do is I'm reaching in here and grabbing this, but we need to push this part through all the way. So now I can pull that metal track piece down, just slide it down along the rubber, and set it down here well out of the way. So now we can get the door latch assembly out without having to fuss with that track in the way. All right, now we just need to take off the 3 bolts that hold this door latch on, and those are a T30 Torx bit. There we go. Now remember, we have to come up and over this little hook and then bring it down. All right, now when you get it to this point here, we still need to disconnect the actuator, which is right down here. You can just push in on this little tab and wiggle that off, like so. We'll just take it out through this bottom opening here. And there we go. Just make sure that you get the right one. This one looks like it's the same. And I'm gonna first take off this outside plastic cover. Let's take this one off too. This outside plastic cover is just easy to take off, just those 2 screws. And then we're gonna flip this over. It looks like we just got 2 screws here that hold this actuator onto that assembly. We can pull those out. And you see it's got this little ball right there that it slides into. Now this will make sense once you see it up close. Just go slow and see, just pull that out. And if you spin that around, you see that this little metal part here is hooked in to that part of the actuator. So all we need to do is just twist that off. Again, just verifying that we have the same part. Looks to be the same to me. Now I am going to hit this with a little bit of lithium grease. That should do it. So let's just put the new one on the same way that this one came off. Like that. We've got that hooked in, and just need to line that up to go in that opening. And then this onto the ball basically. Now we just got to put these 2 screws in. And we just got to put this cover back on. Slide those little guys through there. Now we'll just put these 2 screws back in. And then the last one is this one right here. That's it. It's back together. Part number, by the way, here that I found was X003FDU051. I'll get a link in the description. This is just a made in China off Amazon. It was just a lot cheaper than the OEM Toyota. Hopefully it'll work and hopefully it'll last, but we'll find out. Let's go put it back in and see if it works. All right, so I'm just gonna try to go through the same opening, how I took it out, which was up through here. I'm gonna plug it in here as well before we put it in too far. Make sure you hear a little click. There we go. And right here, I'm just gonna line up that little tab. Now we know it's in the right place. All right, let's see if we can get these guys lined up and started. Make that nice and snug. You don't want this getting loose on you. All right, now before I put these rods back on, I'm going to make sure that they've got a nice little spray of that PB Blaster white lithium. I'm going to spray the backside of the door handle as well, just to make sure that that's nicely greased up. All right, see that? Now we should just be able to pop these rods in like that, and then just spin that little plastic piece around till it clips onto the rod like that. Same with the back one, just pop it in and spin that plastic piece around till it clips onto the rod like that. Okay, and then you can just reach in. You see this metal track piece right here. We just need to slide that up along the rubber until we can get this little bolt right here coming out of this hole. There it is. And we can put that nut on first. And then this bolt right here, just lining that up with the window track and get that started. And we can tighten these down. And we got to put in this bolt right here. That's the one that's threaded like a bolt. And then the one up here that goes into the plastic, that's more like a screw. So just be mindful of that. There we go. Don't overdo any of these or you'll strip them. Now, before we put the inside handle on, I'm going to give this a spray as well with some of this lithium grease on the backside. Just the moving parts there. Looks good. And then we'll clip this in. And right here as well. And that goes in the hole and then slide it forward. And that's it. All right, now before I put the door panel on, I'm gonna connect the switch here and see if this new actuator works. So I'm just gonna plug this in temporarily. And here's the moment of truth. Let's see if that moves. There it is. We know that it works. That's great. Now all we need to do is put the door panel back on and we're done. Let's just unplug this again. Almost left my light in the door. Love these Astro lights, by the way. Been using them quite a bit. Now I noticed one of these little clips got stuck in the door, and that happens sometimes. So if that does happen, I like to pull them out and put them back on the panel so it's a little bit easier to put them on. Now remember, we need to plug in our little pedal light first. And then you just want to carefully hook this on to the door up above. All right, then we can just go around and snap those clips into place. There we go. We can put in these little plastic clips in the end. Just press them in and then push in the centerpiece. Then we can put in this big screw right here. And put in that little cap. Then we can put in this screw right here in the front top little corner here. And put a little cap on there. And then the little trim around the handle, just pull the handle a little bit and slide it back on. Just try to get that clipped into place without forcing it too hard. Like so, 1 and 2. Whoops. Now I just made a mistake. I didn't hook the front piece first. I know that. I should have, but so I'm gonna pop this back off. That's a stupid mistake, but you see right here, we have to hook this underneath this first before I snap it in place. So make sure you don't make the same mistake that I did. So as you're pulling this back, get the little hook started first, like so, and then press it to snap it. So now I can tell that it's hooked, and we can put the screw back in. And if your truck still has it, we can put the little cover back on. It's not a critical part, but if you got it, throw it back on. There we go. All right, now we can put the little switch back in. I hate forcing these off, so I'm just coating these little metal springy tabs with a little bit of lithium grease, so hopefully this will come off easier next time if I have to take it off again. But we can go ahead and plug this one in. And then just pop it in place. There we go. All right, and then the last piece here is our tweeter cover, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Just gonna hit the little ball piece right here. I guess I could just spray it in here. A little bit of lithium grease because those are known to stick and known to break. I've broken them before. That will hopefully prevent it from breaking. And here again, we need to make sure we put that hook through the little square hole first. There it is right there. And then just snap it into place. And we're done. Let's test it again. Look at that. Locks and unlocks. Now we should be able to unlock that from the driver's door as well. Let's double check it real quick. Yep. All right, works from the driver's side as well. Well, that's all it was, this little actuator. Pretty quick and easy fix, actually. Don't be intimidated. This is a lot easier than you think. Just take your time and you can get it done. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description to that replacement actuator that I used, along with some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.